Okay, I think we're going to proceed. Let's say in the next, let's say the next 2 minutes. So for the mentors that are around, this on this particular thread, yes, which of them? I think this one. Good. Underneath this particular posts. So I think 19 replies. We have all the questions that we're going to be treating for today. So we have several questions that actually relate to some of the things we talked before that these guys have not been able to. They have one or two little issues, so they need some guidance on how to go about it. So we're going to be exchanging terms depending on if you feel like it's appropriate for you to you feel you can just solve the issue. Definitely, at that point in time, you might actually share your screen and solve it if you want. I'm talking to Oge, Tino Ade, Robin, and others that are on the mobile, native mobile. So, but kudos to all our other mentors that are here too. Thanks for the support. Amazing. So I've already started. So I don't know if I still wait for 1 more minute. Let me wait for 1 more minute. All right, I think it's about time. So, please, any of the mentors around, can you say you hear me? So let me know that my setup is working properly.
Yes, yes. I can hear you loud and
Awesome,
clear.
awesome. So, guys over on YouTube, nice to have you guys come around. Awesome experience so far. The internship has been going fine. Mentors has been all mentor have we've been all feeling great also. So nice one. So without wasting much time, so we're going to start with some of the questions that you guys actually raised on this particular um, under this particular post. So I guess I can see 19 replies. So I guess maybe 8 or 9 of them are actually critical questions that we could solve. So I guess we just have to go towards that and then start solving them. So before them, one on my own, I think I noticed a lot of person actually DM'd me. A lot of persons DM'd me wanting us to actually solve this issue. Yes, because I actually sent on the last training I did, I said we should do something like this on our own and then just try to do something. So some of you gave me different ways of doing it. Of course, awesome. There's no one way of building a program. Yes, we just have certain things that are the convention to follow, so you don't actually cause memory leaks or do some other things that are not appropriate. But there's no one way. If 5 developers build a particular program, it's going to be five different approach. Now, so without wasting much time, I'm not using Kotlin playground today. I'm using IntelliJ. Now, so we're going to solve this first question. If any of the mentors that is present want to solve another question, they will indicate and then they'll solve it. So other mentors are here also, so it's going to be interesting. So depending on if they want to. So we have a question that says, create a man class and a woman class that has name, age, is married, and money properties. Create a food vendor with name, menu list, is open, property, and also a prepare menu function. So make the man or woman make food purchase from the vendor and also include a daily food purchase list to the man and the woman class with a times 80 property. So I want to first of all give kudos to some of those guys that actually attempted this. So I think I have one. Yes, where's this my? For instance, how do I? Okay, okay. For instance, this is I don't know these guys that to pronounce it, but it looks like Chris Ken or something. They actually attended their assignments. I'm not just talking about Christian this time. I'm talking about everybody that attempts all the things that we're doing. You guys are amazing. You're the reason why we're here, and it's awesome. It's awesome. We want to say thank you for doing these things. You guys are the savior to the tech problem in Nigeria in the next 10 years. It's going to be amazing. Nigeria is going to be amazing. Africa is going to be amazing. The world is going to be amazing with the kind of tech talent that is coming up. So without wasting much time, let's go to our playground. When I was teaching the last time, I said this is reality. Everything that happens within the main block is reality. So let's solve the first problem. Let me create a man class. So I'm using Kotlin, guys. So moving forward, we're majorly going to be using Kotlin. Of course, your knowledge on Java still stands. Of course, Java and Kotlin are still, the paradigm are all this almost the same, just syntax differences. So I'm going to create a man class, and then I'm going to give it a constructor. So someone said he doesn't understand what a constructor means. So this you are seeing right here is a constructor. So what a constructor simply means is when I want to create a new object for the first time, do I need to make some things? Do I need to supply this particular object I'm creating for the first time? Do I need to supply it certain properties so that immediately it's created, it has certain things? For instance, the name, it's important that we have a name immediately and some other things. You understand? Age should be 0 and all of that. So let me create a name variable. So I'll say var name, and it's going to be of type string. Let me make age of type yes, let me do var because it's going to be changing. Var age of type int, and let me see other things that were requested during our yes, during the question. So create a man and a woman class that has the name, age is married, and money properties. So age is married. So this would be a Boolean. So and money properties. So let's say account balance. Say var let's say account balance. Okay, let me just spell it for. And this would be in let's make it double because the reality of for those of us that build systems, we have bit mentors here. Personally, for me, I've built on POS, I've built on several devices. So you use big decimal, doubles, and small bodies, other things. So let's use double for that because you always have people with Kobo, or cents and whatever. So this is our man class. This here is our man class. Now let's duplicate this and form our one class. So I just clicked on Ctrl C and then it copies it. So IntelliJ is that great. So let me make this woman. All right, so we have a woman class, we have a man class. Let's go back to the question again. So it said create a food vendor with name, menu list is open, and also prepare menu item function. So let's create the other class, which is a class food vendor. I'll give the constructor for our friend that asked about constructor. So that's a constructor right here. I'm going to be repeating myself a lot. So everybody gets that piece of the their question. I still have issues with Kotlin constructors. This right here, as simple as it is a Kotlin constructor. This is an empty constructor. This right here is not empty. So we have several properties inside of it. So we have one, account balance, two is married, three age, and then fourthly we have the name. So that's a constructor. If you're dealing with Java, you have the leverage of creating multiple constructors. This name they call it. Since I've not been doing Java in quite a while now, due to recent projects, I've forgotten some of those names because I know names about things a lot. So that's a food vendor. So let's give it some of the properties we need also. So menu list is open, prepare menu function. So let's give it its open property. I would like to put its open property maybe internally. Okay, let me say it's open. Var, no, var is open, and say this is false by default. Let's say it's false by default, or true by default. Or let's just say it's false. I don't know. Okay, let me just do this guy. So let me put it there. It's open. That will be var. I want to make the property within the constructor. Var is open, and make it to be equals to. I'm going to give this default parameter. So the reason why I remove that is because of Kotlin with default parameters. It's so amazing for you to just do everything within your constructor. So var is open will be a boolean. A boolean. I don't know. I miss those terms. So I'm going to give it the default constructor of false. Now, please, when I was going through one of the exercises that was done by one of you guys on my DM, please, this is not a place to start instantiating things. For instance, don't say var name string is equals to. It's not appropriate. So even if as mentors we might do something like this, we're just trying to show you, but that's not how it's done. Yes, please, am I still up and running, guys? For those of us that are online, can you guys hear me?
Sure. Okay.
Okay, awesome. So just once in a while, I'm going to be asking, so I'm sure that my network is working properly. So this is nice, but man is so generic for you to use Ali. Ali is just one person in the world. We have more than 8 billion people. So most of the time, when you want to use the default parameter, you want to use it for something that really makes sense for you to use it. For instance, if I say account balance, for instance, and I'm saying account balance as account. Let's say, for instance, there's a particular field or a property that says, let's say, as accounts. Maybe the person is of age and has a valid bank account or something. You can put that here and say false by default or true, because this makes a lot of sense because it's a common problem for almost everybody in the world. So it's either you have an account or you don't have an account. So don't come and say name is equals to Ali. Yeah, it doesn't really, it's not appropriate. So that's a correction I wanted to give to someone, but I've made it here. So for our food vendor is open is equals to false. It makes sense. Then our menu list. We can create our menu list internally, maybe by default. I think it will make sense as maybe we supply it as a function. So from create menu list, because there's a place I eat on the island where I work. I work in different places depending on no, I work in a place actually, but I've worked in Baraga and Lekki quite a while because we have our offices in those places. So sometimes there's a place I eat. It changes. So you have to make a call and know what is the menu for the day. So we're going to make it very flexible. That's the reason why I'm creating a function, because create menu for the day or something. So create menu for the day. So this is going to contain a list. A list is going to contain menu. and it's going to be of type list of string. We're going to improve this because okay, am I missing anything? So it's going to be so we're going to create a menu list here. We're going to create a menu list, and it's going to be this. It's going to be now in Kotlin, there are lots and lots and lots of EPA functions. There's another word for it, but I can't remember it right now. That just makes a lot of things quite easy. If I want to create a list, someone asked the question also. Whoa, it's almost as if I'm thinking all the time. It's almost as if I'm thinking. I mean, I wanted some of the other mentors to maybe solve the problem, but it seems as if as I'm doing this, I'm actually remembering some of the questions that were asked. So this particular question is to define an empty array. I would like to have an answer to the below question. In Kotlin function block, how can I create an empty array, initialize and assign values to the first two elements of an empty, whatever. Now, someone else might solve this your problem on his own, but right here, I'm still solving that indirectly. So we have lots and lots of convenience methods to create a list on an array or whatever. So I can say list of. Now with list of, I create any type of list. So I can say a list of strings. Right here, I have created a list of string. I have initialized it. I can say array list of, if I want to be very, very specific. Our mentors will actually teach you a lot. I think there are some trainings on that, on collections. If there isn't, we're going to do a refresher on this too. You can say array list of. It gives you an ability to create an array list. This right there is an array list. So I can just come and then start adding to the list. Convenience method that was done by Kotlin for us. So we need to really clap for those Kotlin guys. All of this is, I'll show you how they did it. It's not like it's a big deal. It's the same thing we do in Java, but just that with the help of EPAM functions, we'll still talk about that, EPAM functions, it's easy for us to just do some things. So I can say array of, and as you can see, I've been able to create an array that easily. So, yes. Okay, let me get this guy off my screen. Okay, yes. So I've been able to create an array list that easily. So I prefer to use lists most of the time. That's what we use a lot of times, because an array, if I'm explaining, is a fixed collection of a fixed list collection. So if it's 5 items, you can't change it. It's just 5. That's an array, so it doesn't change. If it's a list, you have the ability to change it all the time. So most of the time we use lists, but when we're creating things that are defined within a particular context, we don't change it. We use array. It's safer. It's consume less memory. It's a lot more better. It's give you less issues. So, but we use list more practically most of the time. So I'll say list of string. So with the list of string, these are menu lists. So whenever someone supplies us a new menu list, we simply just replace it with our new menu list being equal to the menu that was being sent in. Menu. Another thing, let me change this to become menu list. I'm not sure that may be possible. Okay. Now, immediately I changed the menu list, this became this.menu list. Something I wanted to point out. So what happens here is this dot means this particular food vendor object, the property within it, which is this menu list, is what is referring to this dot. So this menu list that I say is the one that is just coming in that will pass through this particular code block, which is not a constructor. This is your function argument, the function parameter at this point. This is parameter. So when you pass it from the main guy, from here, that's become an argument. So, but you can use them interchangeably, of course. So this guy is the one coming in. You see, I named them the same way, but you're going to confuse the compiler if you don't specify which is which. So that's the reason why it's like this. So that's another thing. In case you see this dot, you know what it means. Good. So create menu for the day, meaning the menu will be changing each of the day. So that's awesome. Let me see if we've been able to actually answer all of that. Okay, create a full vendor with name. So let me do this and say our name, our name, because the company might change name later on in the future. You don't want to do a rebrand of type string. Don't do this. This is just for fun, but you could do it actually. Okay, good. Let me even be expressive. I wanted for fun. I wanted to say mama put. For those of the Africans, Nigerians, that's another good opportunity to laugh. Because we need to laugh. Coding is not. You shouldn't make it so serious. You understand? Yes. So, but I wanted to create. You can actually create another category. Of course, you can create more categories of a food vendor. You can say category or type, because yes, you can say type. You get, so it's if it's a particular food, maybe it's fruits category, maybe it's raw foods category or whatever. We can create a category so we know the kind of vendor that we're dealing with. So when we check the category and see that it falls within the category that we want to make purchase from, it works. So I'm going to leave this to make this very simple. So name is there, its open property is there, and then prepare menu item function. Awesome. Prepare menu item. So this prepare menu item is going to be coming from whoever is making the order. It's going to be coming from whoever is making the order. Now, this will lead me to another question that was being asked, and this will lead us to another problem that we might be facing. But let me not jump ahead of the gun. I'm going to use this to be very simple. I'm going to use a string to say, okay, menu item. But we're going to face some challenges, and it will lead us to solving and improving this technology. So menu item, and then we'll check from our list, from our menu list, prepare menu item. So we're going to check from our menu list. If menu, we've done condition as before. If menu list dot contains, if menu list that contains this, which is our menu item, if it contains our menu item, we want to proceed to prepare it. Then we'll say, let's just say we make it at this point in time, let's use our print line to just indicate what we've done and say menu, and do this. Use the Kotlin. We've done this before. So Kotlin templates. So menu item has been prepared. Menu item has been prepared. So it means this thing was prepared. S, we can say, we are very sorry. We're very sorry. Prepare. Okay, sorry. Let's return this guy. Okay. Good. Let me do this. So print line. Sorry. Sorry, we do not have this on our menu. So we're trying to be as real as possible. This one thing right here is how we build technology. Whether you're building an ATM, you're building a POS, you're building an e-commerce platform, whatever you're doing, when you start working for companies, these are the things you're going to be doing. These are the things I do. These are the things you're going to be doing, real life things. It's not different from what we're doing. Now, this year, we've just created a prepare function. Now, I'm going to be ahead of the gun because this is not a conventional class. It's a question. We're going to be solving some things, but at the same time, we're going to be showing you things that are not on, you might not see. Mentors may not have time to actually explain those things during classes. So, but we're going to be doing those things actually on classes like this. So I'm repeating this print line guy. Most times when I repeat something twice, it means on my own, I know I'm making a violation, or I can make my code simplified. That is one of my mentality of a good programmer. When you do not repeat code, it's one of our code ethic, it's one of our design principle. Never repeat yourself. Never repeat yourself. So what it means is with Kotlin, there are a lot of great things that I can do. I can just create my print line guy to be here. So it's going to be our guy that just makes prints. In Kotlin, we can actually return statement. Now, this if else can actually return, it can actually bring it can return you something. That's one of the things that's powerful about Kotlin. In Java, you can't do this, but you can do this in Kotlin. So I can say message. I can call this message and say message is equals to, at this point, what I want to send right now is just our message. I don't want to print. I don't want to print. I just want to send just message. So it's going to give me the most appropriate message. And then right here, I'm going to print the appropriate decision that has been done by our program. So that is it over here. So prepare menu, if it's been prepared, it will tell us it was being prepared, it was successful. It was not, it will do that also. Another thing too is while we're preparing the menu, we might want to automatically know if it was a success or not. So you might want to make a return type that makes it a lot beautiful. When you create the program, it's very, very good when your program is smart. You want to know if menu was being prepared. So at this point, I can say, why I want to return? Why I want to return? If I return, it won't get to that guy. Okay, let me leave that. So let me not overdo things. But that's another thing you can do. You can return to this prepare menu function if it was successfully prepared or not. Nice. So let's see if we're done. Sorry, I'm taking time, but there's no need rushing. The understanding is more for the mentor. So we've done this guy. So make a woman, make the man and woman make food purchases from the vendor and also include a daily food purchase list to the man and woman class with the times eating property also. So daily food purchase list, let's create that. So in our man and woman class, I'm going to make this internally and daily food purchase list. Good. So this will be var. It's going to be a var. Now, you guys are going to ask me why is it var, but okay, I'll explain. Daily food purchase list. Purchase list. So it's going to be of type string. So let's just say is a list of string, is a list of string. Yes, so that's a daily food purchase right there. So, and they also said, look at the way I did it. It's a convenient way of doing it. There are many other ways to do it, but this is the convenient way of doing it. Now, also, they said times eaten. Make the man or woman make food purchase from the vendor and also include the daily food, okay? And the times eaten property. Awesome. So I can come here and say var times eaten is equals to, now let me show you what one of our friends did, and I really give kudos to this guy. It's not as if he got everything right, but for the fact that he did this, it's really, really awesome. It's really, really awesome. I like to make attempts, especially at this level of the class. So this is how he did this with the times eaten. Okay, this is on Java actually, but this is a whole lot of code. You have to run a loop to get whatever I want to get. So, but times eating can easily be gotten from this. I can just say daily purchase list dot size. So it just tells me if there's anything there or not. Let me make this a private property, so it's not being accessed from our side. I think yes, depending if we want them to see it or not. Now, I think we've been able to actually model what we were asked to do. So let's say the final one. Let's see the final one and see. Yes, create a man and woman class. That's okay. All right. So let me create a man. This will be var man is equals to man, and then let's name and specify how this man is going to look like from the constructor to our friend that asked about constructor. So let me call this man Kelvin. I'm trying to be as practical as possible to make this real life. So it's not as if we're just what is the function. No, this is real life. This is what you're going to do in the real world. Kelvin, and the age is, let's say age is 23, and then is married. Let's say it's false for now. Kevin is about to be done with school. Yes, Kevin is his finals. So, and his account balance at this moment, Kevin's a big boy. So let's say Kevin is a student, but he's a big boy. So account balance is equals to, let's give Kevin 2 million. So I think that should be more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I think that's 20 million. Okay. All right, so we just give Kevin has 20 million. That's Kevin. Now let's assume Kevin has a friend. They're both woman. And this is Jane. And Jane is 19. And Jane is not married also. Jane has 300K. Please, those ladies that are watching, don't say this is feminism. It's not feminism. I give Kevin more money and then I give Jane less money. Please, it's not feminism. So Jane has 300K. So that's 300,000. So we've been able to actually fulfill what they told us to do right here. So let's create our vendor guy. So this is our vendor. So food vendor. So our food vendor is going to be, let's say, Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs is going to be, okay, is open. Is open. No, I don't want it to be, okay, let's say it's open true. And the name is Mr. Biggs. And then, okay, I think those two were done. I would have actually liked it's open to be an internal property. Yes, I think it's more appropriate. So we're creating it. Nobody is concerned about it's open. You just want to build your building and then maybe just start. It's open. Let it be an internal property that you can change. But let's just leave it. But let you leave it so we don't waste time. So I can say other things I could do is, okay, I can say food vendor. Let's say for instance, man, which is Kevin, wants to make a particular food. Want to make a particular food, you want to know the menu list. You know, when you go to this big restaurant, they give you this menu list. So man, I can create a convenience method within the man class. Now, I'm trying to be very creative here. I'm trying to be very creative. If we're doing the inheritance will be very nice with this, but let me just be creative and say, okay, we have a function that says function request for menu lists. Request for menu lists, and we're going to pass our food vendor within this. So vendor, I may remove this if it's confusing for you guys. So I say food vendor. So what will happen here is we're going to return vendor dot menu list. Return vendor dot menu list. I'm clicking Alt Enter, so it becomes our return type here. I was talking about return type. So with what I've just done as a function for the man or for the woman, this would have made sense for this I'm doing right here. Makes a lot of sense when we're creating inheritance and some of those things. I think Oge is going to be teaching that. Oge is one of the most we have lots of fantastic mentors. Oge is awesome too. Robin, Ade, I knew them way back. Awesome people. Even the guys I'm still meeting, they're awesome people. So we can still replicate this particular guy for this particular function for the woman class. You understand? So if we add an inheritance or something, we might not be repeating this. Because for me to repeat this, I repeat that. Remember, I told you it doesn't make so much sense. So anytime you repeat something twice, know that you can improve on your program. Now, but let's assume they have that. So I can say man dot request for menu list, and I'll pass food vendor. This food vendor guy, it's already created, but we have no reference to it. I'm going to be saying a lot of things just to specify. Okay, let me just leave that. But this right there, food, let's say food vendor, is equal to this. This guy right there is a variable. This guy also is a reference. It becomes something that we can hold on to and say, let's link this guy to our food vendor or this particular food vendor. So I can pass the food vendor guy here. Sorry, food vendor guy. And automatically, my friends will be able to get a menu list. Please, okay, and others, please, am I still up? Can you guys still hear me, please?
Yes, can still hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, please.
Yes, sure, loud and clear.
Awesome. Am I doing fine? Am I too slow? Am I too fast? Is there a problem? Should I need to hurry up?
No, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Awesome.
So,
okay. At the end of the day, it's mixed.
They can always go back and watch the video again. This time, if it's too fast, they can just take it step by step. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm trying to actually break it down to be as simple as possible and as realistic as possible to real life, so that and so they can actually learn advanced things. Not like you're just doing simple things. And so this is it's realistic. So this is one way that we can get our menu item by man requesting it. We can also just get it from the vendor directly and just say, okay, menu lists is equals to food vendor dot menu list. You understand? That's also very valid. So very, very direct. If you want it this way, it's very, very, very direct since we're here. We might be creating some functions where some things are, some classes are just somewhere else or something is somewhere else. That's where you need to start creating some convenience method where you, or sometimes you may have processes. Their process you get is only a particular person that can request for, or somebody must request. You understand? It's that those, but this is one way or two different ways that you can do this. Now, this is another thing. Let's make man to choose a particular item. So I think it's request for menu list and select. So let's say request a menu list and select. Let me improve my function and say request menu list and select. Now, mind you, it's not very good to make a function do more than one thing. Sometimes you might want to make it do more than one thing, but sometimes it's not very appropriate to make it do more than one thing. So you have to be very careful and know what you're doing. You understand? I want to give it another function that says index, or that says number, menu number. So with our menu number, I'm trying to be very, very realistic. With our menu number, sorry. So meaning we're choosing item 3. Okay, let me know do this so you guys can follow. So I think I can do this. I'll go to the man. I'm going to this particular function. Now you see that I'm making a change to this request for menu function, and then it's affecting, meaning I have to change the woman and I have to change the man. It doesn't make sense. It's actually a poor program that way. It means it can be improved. Not like it's a poor program, but it means it can improve. So I don't want to make this class too complex. I'm teaching things that are too complex. So I'm going to be very simplified. Yes. So request for menu item. Let's do it the way where we can also request for, we can actually choose why we're requesting for it. So now not just, we are just requesting. So I can say menu number is going to be of type int. So while you're getting the list, you're going to choose and return what you are choosing, yes, you're gonna return it. So it's better we say, I'm going to create an if else so our program does not crash, and say if vendor.menu list, if vendor.menu list dot size or dot last index, or let's say dot size, let me not show myself, dot size is greater than, if it's greater than this menu number, we can proceed. If the size is greater than our menu number, we can proceed. Because if we allow anybody to put just any number, our program is going to crash. So I'm just safeguarding my program by creating these conditions so we don't get a crashed program. So if this is this, I'm going to say vendor.menu list dot get this particular number or the menu number. So what this means now is, and I can return this. So if I'm returning this, meaning our item has changed, what we're returning now is no longer a list or string. We change our function. We're now returning just that item. So at this point, I'm going to return an empty string. So we're going to be checking for an empty string also. So if it's successful, it's going to give us the item that was selected. If it's not successful, it's going to give us an empty string, meaning it's not there. And we can still also print, I can replace this like this also, and we can still also print that menu not found. Menu not found. Now, so request for menu list and select is going to be a much more better method for us. So I'm going to copy this and put it here. This doesn't make sense, but we're going to do it anyway. What did I do wrong? What am I doing wrong? Why is this guy complaining? Okay, this should be a list. This should be a string of the item. Yes. So man the request for menu list and select. So we're selecting the third item. If this menu vendor guy has not already prepared the list, we're not going to have anything. We're going to have something empty. We're going to have something empty. So for this vendor guy, it will be appropriate for it to say vendor the menu list is equals to, let's populate the list. Let's give it something. Let me check if we fill the list internally. We can either fill the list internally or we fill it from the outside. So we have a create menu list function. So we can say food vendor. Sorry. I have to be careful so I don't confuse us. Create menu for the day. So I'm going to say rice. Beans. Sorry, this will be a list of, because we're accepting a list. It's going to be a list of these guys over here. This is how I create my list. So I just say list of these guys. So rice, beans. I'm going to get, what else? Let me say plantain. Please, we're in Africa. We're watching from somewhere foreign. I'm in Africa. We're in Africa. So these are things that we can relate with. You can relate to them too also, of course. Plantain. Yes. Let's say potato, or whatever way it's pronounced. Yes. So meaning if I'm requesting for item number 3, I'm going to be picking on potato. Let's say potato. I don't know. Let me just spell latter. You know those guys. They just create different. When you go to places like Lekki and let's say VI, and you go to those big restaurants, you just see menus. And the experience is amazing. You just see menus that you cannot relate with. You get strange names. So let's say it's potato spalata. I don't know what it is, but that's the menu. So why man is requesting for that? This guy has actually picked. These are menu item here. He has already picked an item. So let's print this. Let's print this and see. So and see what menu item man picked first. So the class is more real. So not like we've been coding too much. So let's say selected menu item from selected this. I selected this from, let's say, from vendor food vendor dot name. So let's run our program and see what we're going to get, because we've done a lot right now. Let's see what we're going to get. So sorry guys, this first question took a lot of time. Yes, so probably I don't know how many hours we're going to spend in, maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours. We should be done. So Kevin selected potato spalata from vendor Mr. Biggs. You can see this. So imagine what we've created. This is what our program gave to us. So if you have this, you have been able to actually create and solve this problem, which is create a man and woman class as married property and all of them, create a food vendor, we name this, and make the man and woman make food purchase from the potato, and also include available foods and daily food purchase list to the man and woman. Now, we've not actually conducted any transaction. So meaning at this point, this guy has just selected a menu item. It's not as if it has been prepared for him. And it's not as if this menu item have been added to man's daily food list. You understand? It has not been added to it because he just said, I want this. Not like he has actually prepared it. So if you want this, it means that you need to actually pay for it. So within our food vendor, within this within our food vendor, within the prepare menu item, you need to pass the account details. We need to pass the account details of whoever is coming in. You understand? Let's say, for instance, I don't want to make this complex. If not, our menu list would have been a class. The way it is in real life, it would be a class. It will have amounts. So why the menu is there? Let's say, for instance, class menu. We're going to have a menu item. In real life, this is how it is. You're going to have a menu item. The item is going to have a name. It's going to have a name. And it's going to have a price. This is real life. So I'm going to ask my mentors if I should do real life or if I should just solve the problem and move on. So it's yes. So our price is going to be of an integer. So in real life, this is how your menu item is going to be like. So in this list of strings that we put in here, what we're going to put is going to be a list of menu item. That's how it's going to be in real life. It's going to be a list of menu item in real life. So, but let me leave this and make it a string for now. So, yes, let me make it a string for now because so we don't make a class too complex. So maybe we'll do something like that later on. So, but of course, we need a price. We need a price tag, and we need the person to be able to actually make. Before I prepare this, I need to be able to vet that their person's account number. Let's say they're passing their card details, is a POS device they're using at this point or whatever. But they have to be able to actually show that they can actually give this. So let's say the person passing amounts. So let's say the amounts of the item. So it's going to be of type int. So why this guy is selecting, why the man is actually selecting this, the man actually should be able to actually, we should check within this part. We should check within this part. When we say request a menu list and select, the man, of course, needs to know that my money, my account balance can actually pay for this. I can pay for this meal. So you don't fool yourself and wash plates. You understand? So we need to make that check here. So our program is more realistic. So in programming, it's not as if you get everything at once. So of course, you conduct the business. The person saying you should create your program has to give you the specification. That's what you build with. So we're trying to model real life. So not that you're learning something abstract. This is real life. So this becomes if account balance, if account balance is greater than, menu, damn. So, okay, are you with me? Hello, guys. Are you guys with me? Mentors, are you with me?
Yeah, sure, with you.
Okay, so I'm thinking, because I'm thinking if I should maybe make this a bit. I want to get your opinion, so I'm not creating a class that is too advanced for them, because these guys are still quite new. So so this menu item in real life, we're supposed to get our menu item. We're supposed to use menu item. You understand? So I don't know if I should go that route, or I should just say, okay, within this menu, request a menu this, because as this now, I'm supposed to have the price of each of the menu item, because we don't have the price. I think that's the appropriate way. Let me just go through that way. I'm trying to be. Does that make sense, please?
Yeah, sure. Because realistically, when you go to a restaurant, each menu has like a price attached to it. So
Yes.
They have to like name the admin.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's use the menu item instead. So it's more realistic, guys. So we're not just. So I created the class of menu item. Remember when we were talking about OOP and other mentors have talked about this thing before. Everything is a class and everything is an object. So we modeled how our menu item should look like. This is it. You can put more things there, but for now, this is how it is. So we're going to change our list. This list is going to be a list of menu items now. So yes, this is it. So I guess for our food vendor classes are fine. For these guys, we're not fine. So in this particular point, we're going to have, let's solve this. So we're on this part now, food vendor, the menu list dot size is going to give us a list of menu items. So we're going to say if account balance of this woman, if the account balance of this woman is actually greater than, let's get this guy. Let's get this guy first. Remember that I need to make a check. I've made my check there so we don't get a crash. So I've gotten my menu item. So I'll say if account balance is greater than menu item dot price, it means the person has the proficiency to pay. The person can pay. Then we can return our menu item. Or else, if it's not possible, we're going to return null and make our program crash. There's that. So at this point, I don't know if we thought about non-label string. Oh God, I don't know if this class is too advanced. I'm really scared right now. So we don't make this advanced. So, oh, sorry, menu item. So what we've done right now is the man has been able to request for menu item list, request for the list, and then it selects. So meaning whenever it selects it successfully, we're going to check if he was able, if he's able to actually pay for it or not. That would determine if the food vendor will actually sell for him. So at this point, I don't know if this is confusing. If it's confusing for you, you go to the video again when you download the video. So it's going to be clearer. So at this point, we're returning the particular menu item that we selected. That's what all of this right here is for. So if we have the capacity, we select it here. If we don't, we return null, meaning menu not found, or there's a problem or something. So I'm going to replicate this function for our man guy. So meaning at this point, what we're going to create here now is going to be so guys, what we're going to create here now is we need to create, this food vendor needs to create a list of menu items that are more realistic to what we have. So meaning this guy is going to create, let me create this down, and let's do something that we can understand and follow. So we're going to say, let's create a new menu item. So we're going to say menu item. We're putting it within the list. This menu item, the name is going to be rice. And the price is going to be, let's say, 1,000 boss, 1,000 naira. Sorry, it's not a string. So, comma, let's create other ones. So you saw that instead of, I'm going to cancel, I'm going to go through this again so you follow. So let's say our plantain is 500. Our potato, spalata, our beans. So let me put beans here. And plantain. And then potato, spalata. Let's say potato spalata is 1,500. Then plantain is, let's say, it's 450. Guys, we've just created our menu list for this particular vendor. This is it right here. I'm going to undo so we can actually see how it was before when we had a string and how it is now when we created the menu item. This was how it was before. This is what we have now. So this is menu list, let's say string, and this is menu list of type menu item. You can see the difference. So with this object type now, we've been able to specify price in addition. We can put other things if we want to. You understand? So this is awesome. So I can submit this list to our menu vendor. You see it now. So our food vendor rather creates menu for the day. So that becomes the menu for our food vendor. So this makes a lot of sense. So let me delete this string type because it doesn't meet with all our use cases. So this is it right here. So by the time a man requests for menu list and select number 3, we are very sure at this point that this man has the capacity to pay, that the money it's enough. So we need to create an if check and say, good. Now we need to pass this to our food vendor and say food vendor dot prepare menu item and pass our menu item. I don't know if there's a way for us to actually get feedback. If that would have made sense. So at this point, I don't need to pass the menu item name or amount anymore. I just pass menu item because we've been able to create a class for it. So, and it makes it more convenient and simpler. So you can see it. So menu item, prepare menu item. So we'll check if this menu item is not null. Let's make it nullable. So in Kotlin, we can make an item or a class or an object nullable. What it means is the thing can be empty. It can be void. There's not going to be anything in it. So if there's something, it's going to be like this. If it can be nullable, it's going to be like this. So remember, this is guy preparing it. So, but we need to be sure the menu that this guy is passing to us, if it's an empty, if the menu item is passing to us, if it's empty or not, we need to check. Because this guy may just get this thing from us, and then within it, he might not have been able to actually pay for it, or might not have the capacity. So we need to confirm that he's able to pay for it. So while we are preparing it, we need to run our check here. So if menu item, if menu item is not null. So there are several ways to do it. So we can either say menu item not equal to null. So if you're coming from Java, this is what we do most of the time. So create it within this. If you're coming from Kotlin itself, let me know if you're coming from Kotlin itself, you can say menu item, and then you put a question mark, and then you proceed. So meaning this will only work if there's a menu item. If there's no menu item, it will not work. So prepare menu item. That's what this question mark you're seeing here, as small as it is, this question mark you're seeing here is the same thing as everything that is here. That's the reason why we say Kotlin is more concise, it's more simpler. This question mark as it is everything that you can see here. So let me leave that. Let me leave this first and commit it. We'll do another one with that example. And then menu item, if it's not equal to null, we're going to do this. Let me put this. Not equal to null. So at this point, we're very sure that any menu that is only coming from us, it's going to be a real menu. But we can still check. We can still just check. Let's just check. So let me take all this off and say, if menu lists that contain menu item, I don't need to check. I'm so very, very sure. But you can just check so your program is much more concise. It's very, 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 very less prone to bugs. So we can still just check and see if menu list that contain this menu item that has been passed in. If it contains it, let's proceed. So we're going to proceed right now and say, if it contains it, meaning the person has also paid for it. I'm going to return this guy. We're going to say print menu item has been prepared. Else, we're going to print if that's the case, or an S case, whatever the S case might be, we're going to print menu item not. If this is null, meaning the person passed null to it, which is, please, sorry, we do not have this on the menu. Remember that this particular case also can be the case of the person does not actually have money for it. So sorry, you can say print in this particular S case, it's also possible that the person does not have money for it. So when you're creating your program, you create many use cases that we actually fulfill most of all those edge cases. So you have something that says insufficient balance, or you don't have a sufficient fund for this, or whatever. So I'm just going to have this. But at this point, this is not appropriate. This is not the right message, because we can still check that if this thing is null, it means this place, this node, this is going to be user does not have enough balance. Let me just put that. Or let me say insufficient balance. Or invalid menu selected, invalid menu item selected. Why am I getting that? So I guess I'm having issues with my spelling, but I'm going to leave that so we don't waste time, please. So let's run our program. We've created our system now. Let's test it and see if it works. So let's see if man can actually, so let's see if this vendor can actually can actually prepare this meal that was requested for by this particular man, which is Kevin. So let's see if it's possible to do that and run our program. So menu item, this has been prepared. So let's go in and make it more realistic. I'm going to stop menu item this as been prepared. Menu item dot name has been prepared. So let me see. Let me run it again. So you see, property square data has been prepared, meaning this man has been able to make purchase and everything has been able to be done. If we wrote our if we okay, that's it. But this was successful. So let me find a way to make this more virtual. Let me do something again. So this vendor has created this. This man has selected this. Let me make the man select something that is out of bound, which is let's select 100 or 10 because it's this menu item is just 4 that is here, so it's not up to 10. Let's see what our program is going to do for us. So you see menu not found, insufficient or invalid menu item selected. You're saying it now. So this that we've created now, we've created a world-class program that can actually solve this issue that we have. You understand? So of course it can be improved more. I'm not going to go more into this. I think we'll spend so much time on this, and I'm really, really sorry. But not sorry in the sense of you guys have actually learned something. This is very realistic. This is how you're going to be building real life scenario. So I think I'm going to invite Oge to come in, maybe to solve another problem. So there's actually another issue, other issues that we can resolve actually. So I've just done number 1 and it took so much time because of how complicated it was, which is this. Now last class, that is that. So Oge, you're still here, right? Okay,
yeah. I'm still here, but my network is kind of shaky. I don't know if it will.
I can continue. Should I continue? Like some other problems?
Sure.
Okay,
sure, you can go ahead. My network is kind of shaky.
Okay, so what we've done, we've been able to solve this one by text time, also include those text exam for asking us questions. Then we've been also be able to solve Christian's issue, give more clarity on the personal development tasks and classes. Can you please walk us through the man class, the menu list, and all? We've also solved that. I need more info now to push my Android project to GitHub. I've tried, but not working. I'm going to skip this. So let's solve things that are related to IntelliJ. Then I'm going to open Android Studio or something, and then find a way to solve TJ's problem. So I would like to have an answer to the below question. In a Kotlin function block, how can one create an empty array? Initialize and assign value to the first 2 elements of this empty array. Then use a loop to assign values for a defined number of more elements. And finally return the array so that when the function is called, we know that it will return those elements. Okay, nice one. So let's say I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to create a new Kotlin file. So we solve the basis problem. I want to get the name, I don't know if I spelled that correctly. BCI. How are you guys getting this name from? Awesome, but it's nice. Nice one. So I'm going to make the file so that we use this one of our students' name to name this file. So awesome. Nice for you guys to ask us questions. So let's create a function. First of all, let's create a function that does some of these things. We don't need to create a class. This is Kotlin. We can create higher order function. This I'm creating right here. It's called a top level function, meaning it doesn't need to be within a class. If you are in Java, you need to put this within a class. If not, you will not be able to create a function. So because Kotlin is also a functional programming language, functions are first-class citizens, meaning that you can create a function on its own, so and just work with it. So I can just say fun and say create a list, for instance. Let me just name it that for now, for no better availability of words. So create a list. Okay. So I can create an empty array. Awesome. Now I said number one, if you want to create an empty array, you can actually say array of. This on its own is okay. I think this is an EPA function, so we won't be able to actually do that. So, but we can actually use so you will need to actually specify the kind of array that you want to create. You need to specify, but these are some of the most convenient ways we can actually create simple arrays. So I can say, first of all, let me assume that I have a list, and I want to create. I have a list, and I want to create a list of item. Let's say an array list of item. I can just say array of, and then get the list into it. You can actually give it this var app property. So what it means is I can just on my own, let's say for instance, var app item. So what it means is array of that's VN. Oh, okay. I guess because of that guy. Sorry. Okay. Let me look at our prime value to the first two elements of this empty array. Use a loop to assign. Use a loop to assign the first two elements. Now I'm going to jump this. The reason I'm going to jump it is I've forgotten how because of how simpler Kotlin has actually made provided lots and lots of EPA functions. There's another word for it. I've forgotten it. I've forgotten exactly how to directly create. Let me click on this guy. I think it will give us it gives us an interface. So but most of the time, so what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to show you how to do every of this thing that you've asked. I'm going to show you how to do them for a list. I'm going to show you how to do them for a list. So, but no, I think it's the same thing. So for an array list, I can just specify that this will be an array list of string. I'm going to specify that this will be an array list of string. My friend that asked a question, I just created an empty array with this convenient method. I just created an empty array. So there's actually a more, I think there's something like array, something like let's say var array. But it's been a long time I used it directly. So I can say array of type string. So and there on this particular function, I can specify that I want to thank you. I just remembered now. So I can specify that I want to. I've even forgotten because that init function too. I've forgotten how to create it, but I'll try to solve your problem because your problem was directly tailored to arrays. I'll try how to get the exact function, but most of the time in Kotlin, you won't be doing this directly. So, but you can create your array of. By me creating this array of, I have created an empty, as it is now, this is an empty array. This right here is an empty array in Kotlin. This is an empty array. So I've been able to actually create an empty array. So that's solved number one, actually. So this is it, array of strings. It creates, yes, an empty array that will be populated with string values. That's what I'm able to create here. So That's what this guy does. So let me go over to the next one, which says initialize and assign value to the first two elements of this empty array. So I want to switch over to a list because it is actually more convenient for us to work with lists. You work with lists most of the time, actually. So I want to switch to a list and then solve these issues using a list. So I'll say a list of. So it can be a list of anything, but let's use it as a list of string, for instance. So this right here would be an empty list. So we just return an empty list. So let's add some items to this particular list. Now for list of is mutable. List of is mutable. So I think the same thing for the one that we did before, which is let me undo. This is you can't change this. So I think there's multiple array of. Okay, there is no mutable array of. Okay, so I'm going to leave array. There's no mutable array of for that one. So in Kotlin, actually, we have a list that is final that you can change, and we have lists that you can actually change. This list of that is here are lists that I can actually create at the goal. So I can say a list of names of people. I can say James rather, and I can say Jane rather. Yes, I've just created a list. You can't change this particular list now, so it's an immutable list that I just created. So if I want to create a mutable list, because if I come here and say, let me change this to list. If I say list dot, if you see, I won't be able to get anything like list dot add or list dot anything. All the methods or the functions, all the methods I'm going to be getting from this are going to be things that will require me to maybe get it or get the last one or iterate over it or get an index or whatever, or create a sublist. So I won't be able to actually modify it. So if I want to modify it, I'm going to create a modifiable list. For me to create a modifiable list, I'll say mutable list of. So if I say a mutable list of, and now I can create a mutable list that I can modify. So at this point, I can yes. So at this point, I can say mutable list dot add. On that other one, I will not have add. There's no way I can have add. So I can add, let's say, James. You see it. For this one, I cannot add. I cannot say list dot add. I won't see add. You understand? There's not going to be add. It's not going to be present because I cannot change it. It's an immutable list. For a mutable list, this is how we create mutable list. So I've just added one item. I can create and add more items. So let me make it 4 and say okay, or let's make it 3. Let me find other names of other persons that asked questions. There's TG. There's Aziza. So let me say TG and Aziza. So if I didn't spell your name correctly, please forgive me. So right here, I've been able to actually create a list. And then now I have returned this. I want to return this mutable list now and becomes this mutable list that I've created. Let me create a playground function here, which is going to be a main. Yes, and say print line create list dot size. Remember, I create list now returns this create a list returns a list of string. So from that list, I'm trying to get the size. So if we run it, it will show us if we are correct. If we added 3 items, it's going to show us. Let's see what we're going to get. So you can see 3. So that's how we create and add items to it. So to be more specific in terms of our array scenario, I'm going to actually see, I'm going to, I only work with array. I don't know, for quite a lot of time, I only work with array. Even if I want to create an array, most of the time, I already know the amount, because array is not extendable. So I already know the amount of items I want to create. So for instance, I can say array of, maybe I want to create the kind of user that can actually log in. I'll just say array of, let's say user type. So I can say maybe admin. Of course, it won't be just like this, a string, or it might be a string constant actually. I say admin. Let's say for the project I worked on, I can say fast track agent, for instance. I can say okay, let me just leave this. For instance, admin and fast track agent, those are the only two people that can actually use the application. So this will become my user list. People that can actually come in. So we might have other people. So yes, we can have this as user list to access a particular part of your application. So if the person, one of the criteria from that user object is not an admin, or the person is not a fast track agent, meaning they cannot access some things in the app, you can create another list that says a guest and some other ones, meaning if they fall within that category, they can access that part of the app. So those are, when I'm using an array, I already know how many I want. So in this particular one, it's already 2. So I know it's 2 that I want. But when I don't know what I want, most of the time, I want to use a list, because I don't actually know how much things I want. So that's that for that. So first 2 elements of this empty array. Good. And then it says 3, use a loop to assign values to a defined number of more items. So let me show you beautiful ways. Let me show you beautiful ways of how to conveniently dynamically create a list. So from this our create list function, we've done this. Let me create another one that accepts. Let me create another create list function that will take a list of items. So it's going to take a list of items. So it's going to be a list of let's say items, and it's going to be with lists. It's going to be a list. And it's going to be a list of, let's say, string. So you must specify what's going to be, like what the type is going to be. So let's say it's a list of string. So when that particular list comes in, what I can do, there are different ways you can look through in Kotlin. So I guess you've learned those things before now. So I can say for each. I can use a for each loop. I can say for item. This is not Java. In items, which is what's coming in. Then I want to say for each of them, I want to create a new list, and then I want to add all the items to the new list. So what will happen is, oh, I'm sending a list inside, and I'm returning a list. No, let me not do that. But that's what he has to. Use a loop to initialize to assign first 2 elements of this array list. Use a loop to assign values to the defined numbers more elements. Okay, let's say for instance we want to create we want to just let's say assign elements to the first. We want to create a list of the first 10 items. You understand? First 10 items. So I can say item in, let's say 1 to 10. Items in 1 to 10. So within this part, I want to create a new array, I want to create a new list and return it. So what will happen is I'm going to say list. Let me create my list outside and say var list is equals to multiple list of, because I want to be able to change it. So it's going to be multiple list of string. And then I'm going to say for item in 1 to 10, which is a range, this is an int range. So I'm going to say list dot add. So let me say it's going to be name plus the index. So at this particular point, we don't have the index of this particular distance. I'm going to show you different ways to do it. So let's just create a var item, var index, and say is equals to 0. So at this point, we can put our index. We can put our index, and then we return this particular list. So if we come to our, let me delete this because you're going to be watching the videos later on, so you'll be able to see it. So let me create a list. I'll pass items. Create a list. Let me say, or let me even give it a number. Let me give it a number. Let me create a particular number of list. So in that case, I'm going to say I want to create a list that contains 5 name elements. So at this point, my number here, I'm going to say item in 1 to number. So meaning it's going to create a list of this particular number. So if I run this, we're going to get, let me print list.size first to see if we got that particular number first of all. Good. So we got 5 items. Exactly what we passed in. So let's get the list. Let's see what was actually, let's see what was actually printed. So if I want to print that, I think I can have lists. No, I think I can print the lists. I think to be able to still give me the values that are inside. You can see it's name 0, awesome, good. What happened here is we did not increment our index. So after we do this, we're supposed to increment our index and say index plus plus. So if we do that, we're going to get our different kinds of name objects. So we have name 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this makes sense to you guys. It works. Good. Now let me show you a better way to do this. So we improve it. Apart from this for item in item, we also have for I can still say okay, that's one case scenario. If I have a list of items coming in, let's assume I have a list of items coming in, I want to do something with it. Let's say for instance number list, or let's say a list of names coming in. Names. So let's assume there's a list of names that is coming in. I can still say, for instance, I can do it like this and say names dot for each. This for each block is the same thing as for name in names, is the same thing as this name dot for each. Anything I do within this particular code block, how do I put this now? How do I put this? How do I put this? How do I put this? No, I think this is not the best. It won't be the best case scenario to communicate that will fit in line with exactly what I just did. So let me go to this and say another way to do this would be to say this range of numbers dot for each. Do I have a place to do that in range? No. This might look complex, but what it's still doing is the same thing as what we had before. It's the same thing as what we had before. It means from 0, 1 to that number. Let's say number is 5. It's going to start from 0 to that particular number. But for each of them is going to do this thing to it. So it's going to add, let's take this here. It's going to add the index to it, implement the index, and then we're going to return the list. So if I do this, you see that it's going to be the same. It's going to give us the same answer. Now, apart from for each as a convenience method, we have for each index. So if we have for each index, it's going to give us our index number and it's going to give us our ith position, which is the position that we're in at that particular level. So if I'm using this case scenario, I don't need to create this myself now. So I can just, on this particular page, add this index that came in with it. So let me see why it's giving. Oh, sorry. This should not be there. Okay. So as you can see, we've been able to create a. Yes, so we've been able to create the same thing, but this is showing me this each index. Why is it grayed out? Oh, that's why I had an error there. So at this point, this particular thing also, this particular convenience method, which is for each index, will actually give us the same thing that we did before, but it will be giving us index number also, and then the particular value of this I. At the first point is going to be, it's going to be starting from 1, since we're using 1 this time around. It's going to be starting from 1, then to the particular number that was specified at this point. So let me run this and see what's going to give us. Okay, 0 is inclusive, 1 is not inclusive. Okay, 0. All right, so but I feel, I don't know, maybe this might be a bit complex. So, but that's a way that you can actually do that to look through. So finally, return the array. I think we returned the array. So, DBase size, if it answers your question, let me know. You can write on mobile native and let us know. All right, so you can ask your question here. We might be able to see it. So I'll move over to the next one. So fragments. We'll talk about fragments. We'll do another section for Android. Inheritance. Then how do we pass in an object? Now for Christian, you ask how do I pass in an object as a parameter? All of these things have been passing through constructors, through all of these are passing. They're all objects. A boolean is an object. A string is an object. Everything you see is an object. But let me be specific to what you asked. Now, this create menu for the day. We're passing a menu list object, which is a list of menu. Everything is an object actually. So whenever you pass something through something, you've just successfully passed the objects to it. So I hope that answers the question. So yes, we just successfully passed an object right here. So how do I pass in an object as a parameter for a function to do something? I don't mean defining a method in an object. So I guess I've answered it. So I still have issues with Kotlin constructor. I think we've answered that. What is a C class? We'll answer that. But it's something we've not taught yet. So I don't know. That's something we've not taught yet. So let me go over to this question that I skipped. So we're going to talk about inheritance a bit here, and then we're going to talk about how to solve that GitHub issue, if possibly, or you do it during another class, and then maybe anyone more. So inheritance is one of the fundamental, it's one of the most interesting topic. This is a bit long, but let's just see how we can trash this and then just conclude. Inheritance is one of the most fundamental topic. Our friend Oge might have actually taught it before. I'll go and check YouTube. I think you've taught it before, but if it has not been taught, Oge is going to take a class on it. So, well, let me just do a little overview. Now, there are certain things that are shared properties. For instance, I'm a man. My sister is a woman. Some of you watching are male or female. It means that I can actually you could see in this particular place now that it's when I'm relating to this food vendor, it is very hard for me to pass in a man object. Let's say prepare menu. Let's say, for instance, I want to get the account balance from the man itself. It won't be appropriate for me to say I want to pass in the man. So what happens for a woman? Meaning I have to create a separate function to prepare menu for women. It doesn't make sense. You understand? Meaning, if I can pass in, let's say, a human object, or yes, a human object, or maybe a user object, or something that is more generic, something that it can cut across a man and a woman, it will make a lot more sense to perform certain action. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a class. I'm going to name it human. And this class, I'm going to give it several skills and function. A human should have a name. It should have an age. So let's leave it at this for now. Let's say that's age and that's name. So let me create a man and let me create a woman, and they will extend from this human class. So I can say class man, and then man is going to extend. In Java, we say extends. There's an extends keyword. In Kotlin, we don't have the extends keyword. What we have is this column. So when we're a column guy, we can say extend human, and that's just it. So, but you see that our compiler and our program is complaining in the fact that human needs a name and human needs an age. So in that sense, we need to pass the name and age to the human because a man is still human. So what will happen here is I won't start saying var name. I can still do that, but I'll show you the reason why I won't. There's a better way to do it. So var name, and I can say var. These things can be changed. So age of type int. So what's happening at this point is the man name and the age is not there's a confusion between the human name and the man name. So what will happen is I don't need to give this property. I don't know when we use var keyword or a var keyword, you are making this guy a property of the man. You understand? So at this point, since my father or the human object is already handling some of all these things for me, I just need to pass the value to it. I don't need to put the var keyword. I just need to pass the value to it. So for human, I just pass name, the name that is coming from this man and the age. And this is the inheritance. Another thing too is in Kotlin, every class is closed by default. Sorry guys. So every class is closed by default in Kotlin. Look my windows. Please, sorry, my gen went off, so I had to readjust some things. Sorry about that. Yes. So in Kotlin, yes. Yes, in Kotlin, classes are closed by default, meaning you cannot inherit from them. You cannot access them. So what will happen is I need to open this class. By using the open keyword, I have been able to make this class extendable. So guys, sorry, my windows were shut down before because I didn't want the giant noise to come into the training. So when the thing just went off, there was a poor air design, a poor airflow. So kind of affecting me. So sorry about that. So for the man, I can actually give it account balance and say is of type int. This, my friend, is the inheritance. Okay, part of the reason why it's giving us this issue is because we already have man here before now, and they will create in another man again. So let me create this man 1. So sorry guys, man 1, yes. So this in itself is the inheritance. So I can just come here and say, how do I put this? How do I put this? Yes, let me give some characteristics. Yes, I can even say, let me do something from say my name and age. From say my name and age is going to do this. Print line is going to say my name is and my name age is yes. So I can actually do this actually. So my name is this and my age is that. So remember that this is the reason why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I create a function that's inside the man class. But if I create that inside the human class rather, but if I create a man object and say var name, and then I give it the name of Stanley, and the age is let's say 19. If I think it needs another extra property, which is account balance, let's give Stanley 200K or whatever that is. Yes. So now I can say man dot see my name. This is amazing. Say my name was not originally written within the man class, but you can see man has have access to say my name. This is it actually. The reason why you look the way you look, or you talk the way you talk, and you do some of the things you do, some of your intellectual capacity level, and some of those things is because of what you inherit from your father and your mother, the things you got from your parents. Now, you see, because of this idea of inheritance and some of those things, we've been able to create systems and products. And even in our agriculture, we've been able to, what's this called? Where we get, let's say, a particular corn that produces big fruits, but is more prone to disease. There's a way they cross-pollinate them with maybe another breed that is less prone to disease, but it doesn't bring very big fruit. So you find a way to bring these two guys together so they can become an hybrid. That is what inheritance says. You see that I can do this particular thing without having to repeat code functions or repeat code block. Meaning, if I come here and I create a woman object, and let me say woman 1, you see that the woman is also extending the human class, and this woman also can also say woman. So let's say, for instance, we create another one. Let's say var woman equals woman 1. And let's say this is Faith, and Faith is let's say Faith is 13 years old, and Faith doesn't have much money. Let's say Faith has 0 account balance at this time. Maybe there's no tip, or there's no mom didn't give Faith money this particular week, so she has nothing with her. You can see that Faith can still say my name. The reason I'm not naming this guy Faith is because when we're creating our program, we don't know who these people are. The people might be coming in they're using our platform through phone. We don't know, so I'm just saying woman. So that's the way we do it. Sometimes you don't need to, except you might want to be clear actually and say, okay, maybe if this is Faith, it still works. You understand? But when you're creating your program and then you're coding, you don't know who your user is, so you have to be very generic. So you see that these guys have access to this thing. This is inheritance. So there are still other things you can do with inheritance. You can do a lot of things. Apart from that too, if I was using the without inheritance ideology now, I can actually sorry. Yes. So without inheritance ideology, I can pass in a human object. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I can pass in a human object instead of passing. Yeah, sorry. So I can pass in a human object instead of having to pass in a man or a woman. You get. So that will be it, guys. Let's see if we can get more questions. Mentors, if there's anyone. Okay, are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know I muted. So I don't know if there's any other thing we still need to answer or we need to reschedule, or we're very good for today. It's okay, present. Is anyone? I have a question. I asked it on YouTube. Karen, touch it, please. Okay. So let me head over to YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. Should have had YouTube open. Sorry, since my network is poor. Okay, so I don't know if my program is not loading properly. Okay, maybe it has not finished loading. So let me see if I can see your questions right here. But it will make more sense if you could actually answer, if you can pass a question onto maybe underneath this particular thread here, for these guys that are here.
You can check the messages area.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see. Nice one. Wow, great. Please, what's the current tutor Twitter handle? All right, I'll share my Twitter handle later on. Why? Sorry, we are with you, boss. Okay. With advanced beginner. Somehow, something is entering my head. That makes sense. Nice. All right, it's good to know we have a sample model for real life vendor stuff. Good one. Nice. So, please, a quick question. In my Android Studio interface, I only have few layouts visible. How do I work with grid layouts, relative layouts when it's not visible or I can't find it? Please, I will be good if it can be treated. Okay, nice one. So let's go over to, please explain the different types of classes in Kotlin. All right, so I'll touch this and then I'll go back to this so that this is going to be very practical. Yes, very, very practical. Some of the things we're doing, most of the sessions are going to be very, very, very practical. So real life situations. Like I said before, I've been able to work with my organization. I've been able to work on POS devices. That's amazing for me. I've been able to work on things that are related to money. You understand? Banking and some of those things that relate to money. So these things are the things that you're really going to be doing. These are things you're going to be doing. So it has to be as practical as possible. And it's really not different from the things we are doing. So when that inheritance, for instance, okay, we'll go back to inheritance. We'll touch a lot more on it because it's a bit more complex. Good, enums also. So, but let me answer this guy. Please explain different types of classes in Kotlin. Now, for you, Kingsley Okorogwe, now you should go and try to watch the previous class that I did. It was a class like this too that we touched on everything that other tutors have actually worked on. So, of course, we stand on the shoulders of others. So, other tutors have actually crafted classes on specific topics of these things, function, what have you. So, but at a point, I just come in and then I do something like, oh, let's get a cover. Let's do a practical class, a real life scenario of what we'll be learning from all these mentors. So, in that particular lesson that I did, OOP from classes to objects, I was able to explain the different types. Also, Oge and other guys, other great mentors, they've also explained these things before. We have primitive data types and we have custom data types. The man objects that we created, for instance, is the woman object, the man object, vendor, food vendor, whatever. All of those things they're all custom types. They're not types within the system because you created them. They're not custom types. Now, the ones that are primitive data types are types that are natural in reality. They're natural. So those things came with the system. The guys that created this program, that's to create those things because it makes sense for them to create it. You understand? So things like numbers, which are divided into integers. let me break it down. integers, Boolean, doubles, what have you. So let me not waste much time on it. Doubles, all of those things are data types. So, but they're primitive data types. They came with the system. They are things that you use naturally. That's why they're primitive. You understand? Crude now, cultural crude tools. Those things that are more that you can use. Then we have commercial, which are more advanced. So these ones that are more advanced, which is man, are the ones that you created. So they're customs. So I guess that answered the question. So what will happen now is I will answer the next question, which I think I missed out. I wanted to short down, but I didn't. Let's just go through a few of them again. Would be enums. So we don't get our guys to be disappointed. Let's see if we can touch on enums. So I'm gonna for inheritance. You see that. Okay, let me do a bit of inheritance and conclude, and then go to enums. You see that I was able to inherit from this, say my name. I inherited it. I can do that. For instance, I can say move. Let's say, for instance, from, let's say talk. Let's say talk, yes. Talk and we print, you see, name is talking. you see that because of inheritance, I've been able to share one code base to any amount of people. A boy can come and extend human, a man can come and extend human, a woman can come and extend human. The same thing happens for games. You when you're creating a mobile, when you're creating a video game, you see that there's a particular pad that you're using is the same pad you use to play Mortal Kombat, the same pad you use to play soccer or what have you. You just need to create your pad class or your interface. Sometimes instead of us to use we see have abstract classes and interfaces. We're going to talk about that. So that's awesome. If you know about interfaces and abstract class, that is key. You understand? You understand that you go to design pattern later on as you advance. You understand? But that's very key. So this is it. So I can come here and say woman dot talk. Amazing stuff right here. This talk is not in a woman class. I never defined it. All of these things are just things I inherited. I inherited them from my human object. This human object now, we can even change it to become parent. Remember in programming, I told you everything can become an object. You can make it to become a parent. So whatever, based on your use case of the platform that you're designing or whatever, you just create it to suit the use case. Now, there was a time when I created a particular application. They wanted the application to do Google sign-in, Facebook sign-in, whatever sign-in. So what I did was I created a class, an abstract class that was called sign-in EPA. I'm not going to do this, of course, I'm just explaining. So this sign-in EPA is a class that everybody we are going to extend from. So when they extend from that guy, he had things like, let's say, on check if already signed in. So this particular function is going to do that. So because everybody will check if they're already signed in, whatever you are. Then we'll try to sign in if you've not checked it. So this, of course, will return a Boolean. It's going to return a Boolean. Another function that says sign in. So this will actually do the proper sign in. You understand? But they were let's say return true. But you're understanding my use case now. You're seeing this is more practical. So it's not as if you're going to be using this in a man or a woman class. No, you're going to be using it. It's never that falls within what you're doing. You can say, okay, for instance, now you want to create a bank. I'm trying to be very realistic. You want to create a bank, or you want to create a platform where different people can actually create. Yes, you want to create a bank. I'll create a bank object, and then different banks can actually, of course, okay, this is a normal use case. It's a normal use case. I want to do something that can actually inherit. Maybe bank is not the right. I've not been able to actually get my connection properly, because of course when you create a bank, you need the bank name and some other things if they are registered with CBN and all of that. So maybe bank doesn't really fall within that now. But yes, as I get more use cases, all this I'll explain them. So let me leave that. We're done with this. I hope you guys understand it. Awesome, amazing stuff right here. So let's go over to Android Studio and see. Okay, good. Enums first. So we're done with enums. We can actually try and treat few things on Android. So what this means is, from henceforth, we might not talk much about the Kotlin language itself. We'll still be doing that, of course, but we might be just be doing it within the Android Studio IDE or within Android Studio. So I'm going to talk about yes, I'm going to talk about this is our guy right here, which is a menu list. So of course, our program is very secured. There was something we were doing before that was not that so secured, because let's say, let me do it this way within the basis file. Let's say, for instance, I say font color. How do I do this? Font color. for color my book. Let's say this particular function colors the book of, you guys are adult now, so let's say you have a younger sister or younger brother and they like to draw. So let's assume we're creating a program from there that it makes them, or an application that makes them, help them to color or paint or do whatever. So let's think that this function helps them to color a particular book that they have within the mobile application or whatever you get. Let's be imaginative here. So don't mind my use case if it doesn't really fall into real life. So color my book. Now I want to pass in a color. Let's assume the color is a string. So I'm going to say print book is don't mind for using American this thing. Book is colored color. I don't know if you understand what I did. So let me run this program and so you see. So I'll say color my book and I pass in red. So let me run the program and so we'll see what we get. Now book is colored red, right? Congratulations, we got it. Right? Amazing, right? If you do this within your program, you've created room for bugs. This makes quite a lot of sense actually, but at the same time, it's actually prone to a lot of bug. It's very prone to a lot of bug. Yeah, nice. Thank you so much. So it's prone to a lot of bug because I can come here and say, you know, kids like to play, people like to play, or you're creating the program and people have to enter their email and you didn't create it in a way that is more secured, and they just put and someone just say, let's say for example, you're crazy. That's my email. You're crazy, and then you accept it into your database. It's uncalled for. It means your program is not secured. It's prone to bug. I can come here and say Apple, and I run this program. Imagine this kind of a situation right here. Book is colored Apple. I don't understand. Does this make sense, guys? It does not make sense because we've not been able to secure our program in a way that it only brings to us the things that we specify that we need or the things that we need. Now I can come down here and say I want to create a color set. I'll talk about enums and then I'll move over to talk about maybe C classes if there's time. Maybe the Android guys will do this again. Okay, let's see. Maybe we may not touch Android. We'll do this again, but I'll reach out to those guys that have questions personally in case we get to solve this class. So it will be on your term. You can decide to say we should continue if you want. You drop it in whatever platform, and yes. So please, you can answer your friends too. Those that need question, but follow the class. Please don't just follow the class. So the better way for us to do this would be, I'll create a color set, and this is going to be an enum class. Now, yes, I'm going to create a color set, and I'm going to call it. I'm going to create my own color set that is going to work within this program. So I'm going to say red, blue, purple, and green. So enum class color set. So within our program right now, the colors that we accept are red, blue, purple, and green. So what will happen to my function? What I'm going to put here, I'm going to put the color sets. Automatically, what happens is when I'm calling my color my book function, I need to provide a specific color set that makes sense. Or of course, I can't do any other thing now. I can't say I want to pass Apple. My compiler will accept it. So my program is secured. So what I will do now is I'll say color set. So I'll say color set dot blue. Now, if I come here, I'll now do color dot name, and it will give me the color that I chose. So this is now, book is colored blue. Guys, you can see this now. This is amazing. Our program is secured. So a lot of times you use things like this. You need to create constants. You need to create a set. It's like when I was doing that instance of admin, most of the time when I do this, I use enums for it. I want a signing class, a particular list of people that can sign into app users, for instance. And I want admin to be there. I want maybe free users or a guest. G-U-E-S, guest. Just like that, for instance, and the kind of other users. So depending on how these users are, how they came into the system, I'm going to relate to them differently. I'm going to show them some part of the application. Let's say it's the guest can only use some part of the application, but they cannot do other things except they are logged in and they become a proper user. Or if they are an admin, they should be able to see certain part of some monetary values, how many users we have, the dynamics around it, if there are how many male users we have in the world, how many female, some information like that. They can see the analytics, they can see how many people are downloading our apps, all of those. So it's that beautiful. This is what you're creating. You understand? So it's a lot more complex that there's a little more, but this is what an enum is used for. And this is the beauty of an enum. So we've been able to control this thing now, and this thing is actually very secure. You understand? So for the difference between enum and I just pray I'm not too ahead. Let me create a seed class. Let me create a seed class now. And do the same thing for a seed class. A seed class is actually an enum on steroids. That's how we call it most of the time. So what it means is they're actually enums, but they're a lot more powerful than enums. But before I touch on C classes, I'm going to still do more example on enums, so it doesn't look as if it's just so generic, and then we don't really understand color sets in that way. Another thing too is for an enum. Let's say for instance, when I say color my book, I can decide to say, I can use the when statement and say when color you can see that it gives me a particular set of things that I can work on. For instance, I can say when I can change this to become let's say account user, account type. So this becomes, let's say for instance, this becomes savings. Trying to be as realistic as possible to real life. These are the things you do in your workplace. So it's not as if, and after savings we have current, then we have joint. So we can say this is account type now. Then I won't make my function. I'll say, let's say withdraw or something. Let's say withdraw. I forgot how to spell withdraw, so please just think I'm correct. So let's say we want to withdraw money now. We need to check the particular account type before we make withdrawal, because there's some account type that you can just you just cannot make withdrawal within except you undergo certain you do certain things. So let me change this to account type, and let's do this. Now, one of the key things you saw now is you see that our when statement gave us ability. It just gave us exactly what our program is going to handle. Meaning, if anybody doesn't meet this criteria, they cannot withdraw. If anybody is not doesn't have a savings or a current or a joint account, they cannot withdraw. So if it's savings, let's say they want to withdraw an amount. Maybe if it's a mobile app, they might just need to provide maybe their password or whatever. Let me find word for it. Let's say we just withdraw. Let's say in this particular case we don't withdraw directly because save it. If it's current, we tell them maybe they need to provide, let's say, a cash book. If maybe a check, if a check is present, we might need to do certain things. If check is present, we do certain things. You understand? And then we'll do certain scenario. If it's a joint account, we might need to consult with the other person and say, okay, if partner is aware. So you are not saying that we are not just coming to just withdraw like that because you like money, you want to withdraw. So you see, we are meeting with several cases now. If partner is aware, we are doing that. But you see how powerful an Enum can be. So you cannot just come here and say you want to withdraw and you just pass anything that somebody can just manipulate from anywhere. Especially all these hackers and people that just do anything and you just say you are passing. You want to say savings like this. It doesn't make sense because someone can come and spell it savings capitalized. And it's another thing, it's another meaning. You spell it saving like this is another meaning. Saving like this is another meaning. So your program has to be secure. So that's the power of an Enum. You understand? So I guess I've been able to make something more clearer. So let me go over and say, let's say, okay, this is current. It will handle the case for current. So that's for that. For C classes, so for C classes, the beauty of C classes is the fact that at the same time, it's giving you within. Okay, let me see. Please, can any method still hear me? In case my network is, let me be sure my network is still working fine. Yeah, please. Oserenga, are you still here? Yeah, I guess Oserenga may be doing something.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, I thought you were busy with something. You know, there are a lot of things we do. So, yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah,
sure. Okay,
I'm
so you can see me.
Yeah, I'm still like.
Yeah, you know that. And that work. I really appreciate the fact that you're still here, despite the several things I was still have to do. Awesome. So, well, thank God. You know, we're grateful. We're grateful. I guess the guys who are doing this for, they're grateful also. So it's a good one. So now I am trying to see how I can create let's say a color set. Okay. Now I want to create a blue class, and this class is going to extend. Sorry. My blue class is going to extend the color set. So it's going to extend this color set class. Why is it happening like that? Okay. So it's gonna extend the color set. So I've been able to create. Remember this is the way you see. It looks like an enum. Let me do it with a type. In fact, so that it's more. But let me name it slightly different. So I can type. Let me say current. This will be current account. Awesome. This makes a lot of sense even. So this will extend account type. This makes perfect sense. So we're going to have this. So this is going to be, this will be savings. This will be coin and this will be joint. Now, for an enum, you saw that enum is just like a constant. It's just like a constant because we can come here and say, this is account type of current, for instance. we can say if account type is current, do something. If account type equals account type dot, okay, let's say if account type equal account type of joint, let's say we were doing something, give customer a gift. Give customer a gift. Now I want to show you why enums is restricted and why C class is a bit more powerful, extremely powerful. So let's say give customer a gift. Now let's assume we want to give joint customer that have been with our company for the last 5 years a gift. Being the fact that we use an enum here, we cannot provide that. That means we need to go and find the customer object and get how long the dates we created that customer object and know if it's up to 5 years before we can actually do that. But as of this level now, we can't actually know if we can give them a gift. We can't add that property to say if the customer is 5 years old because it's not within our enum this thing. So, but if I'm creating this now within this account type of savings, this can actually contain data. I can say var name, that will be the name of the owner of the account. I can say balance. You see how powerful this thing is. I can say created date should be a string. Let's just make it an int, for instance, and let's just make it an int of it will just be the amount, the years they've been in the company. Let's just say yes. You're seeing it now. Now, this, if I'm sharing, these things that are shared properties, of course, they're shared properties. Since they're shared properties, I can give these properties to I can give these properties to this parent guy. The reason I'm giving it to this guy is because of the inheritance. Remember the inheritance I will learn just now. So that I will not be, because most of these accounts, savings account is going to have a owner, it's going to have balance, it's going to have years. Current account is going to have the same thing, joint account is going to have all of these things. So why should I be repeating data for all of them? When I can just give that to the parent class, which is this account type. Because a C class is still kind of an extension class, it's still an enum, all of that. So that's just what I'm trying to explain. So the balance is 0, 0.0, and the years is going to be 0. So if I do it that way, I just need to pass this. I just need to pass this down to. No, let me leave this. Sorry, let me not make this class too complex. Let me leave all of this. Let me not make it too complex. So we're trying to. We've not actually started building complex devices. So let's just get the understanding first. So owner balance, yes. Let's assume that's what we're getting from this. Let me see. Or let's assume we're not using years. We are not using years in we're not using years in savings. And yeah, you can see that this contains. I don't really have lots of examples in my head right now, but let me just. This is a seed class. So if I want to use this class now, I'm going to create a C class of var, let's say user type, for instance. Let's say there's a particular user, let's say user type or user or something. Let's say it's a user, and this user is going to be a savings user. So I'm going to say account type, for instance. Which of the account type? Oh, this one. Dots. Let's say and So account type dot savings, and then we just created a savings type. You understand? Let's say this particular owner is James, and James has a balance of, let's say, um, let's say 200,000. So this is James' savings account. So we want to check if this user account is of type. Let's say we put this particular data from somewhere in our database or from somewhere. We'll actually check and we can see that this particular account type, it's of a savings type. So I can say if account type is, for instance, is account type dot sorry, this is a type. Now, good, awesome. This is a type. So in Kotlin or in Java, we want to equate if something is of a type. What we use in Java, we say instance of. In Kotlin, we say is. So if this account user is of type savings or type, in a particular case, I want to give a promo or something to users of joint accounts that have spent a particular years. So if it's a type of account type dot joint, it means they fit within our use case. Incompatible type. If account type equals account type return. What am I doing wrong? Sorry, guys. No. Okay, I guess I'm doing something. Okay, let me use a when statement. I think that would be better. That would be better. So let me say when user account is of type. I think I'll be able to get it from here now. Okay. Okay, I think I know what my issue is. Let me make this a bit generic. So let me create let me say current var I'm not okay. Let me leave this and go back. So I don't know why I'm not getting that. Where user is supposed to give me this. I can't type. Don't know why it's giving me this error. In what program did I use something like this? Okay. So guys, bear with me. So this is part of the issues we face as developers. Certain things you're going to face things like this. Of course, I think we had something like this in our last class too, where I made a little mistake. So it happens. It happens. So yes. So but what I wanted to check now is this guy. It's of account type of joint. So and why am I having this as an issue? Let me close this first. We're already done with this. Okay. So I'm trying to see why I'm having this to be like this. Okay. Let me do something about I can't type. Guys, please bear with me, please, because let's say it's of type. Type. I can't type. Let me make another book. So it goes to now. Why was this guy stressing me since? What did I do wrong? So what we can do actually is good. So I can say if let me see if this will not give me my answer now. User account, please account type dot trend. Oh, I get it now. I think I get it now. I get it now. I get it now. I get it now. So the reason why I'm having this as an issue is because this account type of savings and account type, they are not the same thing. They're not the same thing. So what I'm supposed to do actually is I'm supposed to create something like this at the top. So the reason I'm doing this is I need to there's sometimes I was supposed to explain in the inherent times that I've not explained. So I just pray it doesn't really affect us at this point. So I should have actually explained that before now. So what happens is I'm creating a type of account type. I'm going to create a variable of account type. Remember, an account type is like a parent. So meaning every child of it, they are still account types, which is a savings is still an account type, current is still an account type, joint is still an account type. But account type is not savings. I don't know how to put it now so you understand. How do I put it now? For instance, let's say for instance, Dangote is a friend to your father. Dangote is a friend to your father. And there's a contract or a communication between your father and Dangote, and your father says to him, "Don't worry, I'll be here, or my son will be here. I'll be here, or my son will be here." Meaning, if your father goes, the deal work. If the son goes, the deal work. But they without your father making those things to happen, you can't just walk up to me, Dangote, and say you want to run this deal. It's not really possible. For those of you that are not Nigerian or African, Dangote is actually the richest man in the world. So I'm trying to paint a situation. So I'm trying to paint a scenario so you understand that the parents actually have more leverage. So most of the time, when I want to create something like this, I create a variable that is of the parent type. So I can just say, okay, yes, let's say var this guy is equals to null, or let's say the initial of it, I can say let's just create an initial one of let's say account type. Let me even create an account type of null first, even at this point. Let's say class none. I'm sorry, guys, for taking time, and I never knew I'm going to be doing this, so I'm using all of this coming from my head, my experience. So not like I planned this. If not, we won't have wasted as much time as this. So let's say account type. So none is going to extend account type. So none is still a valid use case. So let's say within our first one, let's say it's account type dot none, because we don't have anything present at this time. So since we've created this user guy, always as if we got this user guy from the database or from somewhere, and this guy is a service guy. We need to attach this guy to our use case objects that we want to work with. So account type is going to be user. It's going to be user. Why is this guy giving me this? var cannot be assigned. All right. So let's make it become var. So our account type is going to hold this user object. The reason why it can hold it, the reason why it can hold this savings guy is because savings guy is also an account type. This is called polymorphism. Let me create a new, let me make this clarified, because I don't want this class to create another class where people are saying they don't understand and we should create another class. Let's deal with this. It's going to take, this thing is going to be longer, but let's deal with this. So let me name another function, another class with someone else. Let me name it with someone that is with us, mobile native. Okay, so let me name it with Brian. So Brian, I'll try to answer your question, but that might be another time. Might be another time because we might not be able to go to Kotlin Android today. So let me make it a file. So what I want to do here is I want to teach you what's called polymorphism so that you understand something. So, and we're going to go back to that our human case. So let me create a main. Let's create a main block. Then I have to create this again. Man, as human, and okay, just create that. They couldn't make it an open class. Don't forget, make it an open class so it can be inherited from. Then let's create other classes that are, let's say, a man and woman. So man, and then it's going to extend human. So the reason why we're having this issue is because we already have a man class in other parts. So let me use man one. So look at something. Let's say, for instance, yes. Now I can say, I can look at something. I want to create a man. I want to create a man. Is equals to, this is a man. Man one. I just created the man one object. We've done this. We've done installation and all of that before. This is not a man. Remember, if I want to create a type, the type that this guy is returned to now is a man one type. This is valid. This type, this is a man, of course. The variable we're using to hold it, or the reference is also a man variable or a man reference. I can come here and say this guy is also a human. My compiler is not complaining because it makes a lot of sense. It's also a human because for real, this guy extends a human class and it's also a human and it's also a man. Do you understand? I can create a woman and do the same thing. And it's still very much valid. I can come here and say this is a woman. How do you know the real installation, what the person really is? It's this part that is here. This part that is here, that's a real deal. That's a real object, the real instantiated object. So this is actually a woman. But for real, I can still say that woman is also a human. That's what, in this way, I am relating it as a human. I am treating it as human. So if, for instance, within our woman code block, we have age as a property. For instance, age as a property, you see that I can still access it with this woman object and say woman.age. Sorry. You can see I can still access it. But as it is, this, if I say dot, okay, this is not that would have been able to give us runtime type or something. This way you can get the type. And to tell you that this type is a human. Yes. Okay, let's do something. So if woman is human, of course it's human and it's still a man. It's the same, it's a woman and it's still a man. Let's print something. It's gonna print in both cases because it's a human and still a man. Now, what I'm trying to say is the ability for us to make this woman, to treat this woman as if it's a human class, is all called polymorphism. Meaning I can create a function and say pay human. For instance, let's say a function that says pay human. This is taking so much time, but I guess it's for the best. So you guys are going to go through these cases. You're going to go through it again, depending on your time and all of that. So let's say human of human. So let's say in the human listing, we have what we call accounts, for instance, account balance. And let's say it's 0 at this time being, is 0. So we can say pay human a particular amount. So pay human $10. Pay human $10. Pay human $10 is a function that says pay human $10. So in this particular case, I'll just say human dot. Sorry, I guess I've spent so much time, so I'm beginning to get less optimal. So forgive me for that. Is equals to human dot account balance plus, sorry, okay, plus 10 plus 10. Let's say plus 10. You understand? This is it. I've paid human $10. That's what this means. So I can see if for some of you that know convenient functions, I can still do it this way and take this. You see the same thing. So that I did, what you saw before and this one is still the same thing. This one is a bit confusing, but what it means is human plus, it just means that human plus 10 is what this one will become. So I did the 2 cases so you understand. So what will happen is I can call the function now and say pay human $10. I can pass man into this class, and you see that it works. It doesn't complain. We don't have any complaint. Let me remove all these ones that are giving this, so we can actually print it. Or no, we don't have any issue. You see that it's not complaining. I can pay this man $10. I can just pay the woman $10. It's not complaining. It's only when I want to pass something else I have to complain. But you see that these guys have been able to act as if they are human, because in this point, the only people I'm accepting are only humans. This you are seeing right here is called polymorphism. It's the ability for an object to take the form of another object. So a man is not taking the form of a woman, or a man is not taking the form of a human. A woman is not taking the form of a human. So it's not the same scenario where I said a friend met with Dangote and says, my son will be here. So when the son is coming with the name of the father. So when Dangote sees the son, he says, okay, no problem, take this, give this to your father. I guess that is very clear. So that is what we use, some of the things we use inheritance for. So I want to go back here and now say the same scenario is what I'm doing now here. This account type is the parent type, and we have signed it to null in the first case. But now we've been able to get a particular account type that may be savings or whatever, current, joint, whatever. You understand? So we've assigned this user type that will go from database or whatever place to this account type. So we want to check for real, who are you? Whose father? No, of course, I know this is, but which of the sons are we dealing with now? You understand? So the scenario I painted out, the father can say, please, I'm going to send my son Shukuma to you. Meaning, if I send my son Bolade to you, you're supposed to ask, I thought you said you're going to send Shukuma. Should I still give him the money? I don't know, you're getting those kind of case scenario. That's exactly what we're doing in this point. So if the account user is a joint account, give them the promo. Give them the promo. If it is a joint account and they are, if it's a joint account and account type, which is the account type now, remember this account type is still whichever was just passed to it, which is could be savings or joint. It could be joint or whatever can pass to it. We don't know. But at this point, we can check who that person really is. So if the account type is of account type of user, Kotlin is smart enough to cast it for us, and we can say if the account type does no, let's see, not owner, yes. If the yes, and I use a var. Oh, I see. Guys, take note of what is happening. Oh, what happened here is I just passed this thing. I'm not using it. Nobody's holding it. Nobody's trapping it. It's not being used because I did not give them a var keyword. Number one, or I did not pass them. I did not pass them to anything that holds them. Let's say, for instance, I have a rebalance object, like var balance NCE that is not equal to this balance that we passed. So that's why you're not holding it. It's just like when you point water to a basket or you point water away. You're not trapping it. There's no bucket to hold it. So that's what happened there. So I can put my var to make it a property that is part of this joint class. That's why we couldn't see yes. So when we have this, you cannot go in and say if account type dot yes greater than. Remember, this use case is already a joint account. That's why it came here. It left savings, current. It came to joints because this is already a joint class scenario. So if this person that is coming is a joint account, it will fall into this category. So we're checking. So we're checking if the accounts.years greater than or equal to 5. If it's greater than or equal to 5, we want to give them a bonus. We want to say congratulations, thanks so much for being part of our great microfinance bank. You guys have been amazing. So in this scenario, we want to do something. If the content of this is greater than or equal to, good. If it's greater than or equal to 5, I want to say thanks so much. You understand? Yes, let's say okay, yeah, thanks for being part. Thanks for being part of our organization. You can create a function, and this function will be sent to the user as even as a text message. Within this block, it sends them a text message or an email or whatever. Thanks for being part of our organization. You've been awarded organization. Okay. You've been awarded $10. So let's put all our knowledge into play here. You've been awarded $10. So where's our dollar sign? Oh, we give the dollar sign here. All right, it works. So you've been awarded $10. So let's call our $10 method. I think we have one $10 method that is here. Or is it here? Yes, pay human $10. But these guys did not extend human. So let's see. We cannot do double inheritance in Kotlin or in Java. We cannot. We cannot. Let me see if this guy can extend it. I've not thought about it once, but I know we cannot do over inheritance. It doesn't run. Yes, it did. So our account type can still be a human object. So this one inherits from this. Why this guy's inherits from this? So now I want to say pay human $10. So human, let me see. Hope I'm not making this thing too complex for you. All right, that means those guys now be a human and they have an account balance that will be 0 automatically. I don't know if you're getting the point. So meaning this savings guy, so meaning this guy now have owner and balance, account balance, meaning they have balance and account balance. So let's just say this one would be a special balance. There is a special balance because you see when you have let's say MTN use some of these telecommunications company. I don't know, sometimes you have a balance that is two different balance, or you have a data that is two different data, where you have a data that you can use the one that you bought, but the one that is a bonus. Good, let us say this is bonus balance. So since we inherit from this guy, we should be able to say pay human $10 and pass in our account type. This is our account type. Remember, it's still human. It's going to be confusing for you. This is our account type. Is an account type. Is this guy here? And okay, our joint account type is an account type. Is also human. A current account type is an account type. Is also human. A series account type is an account type. Is also human. The non-type is an account type. Is also human. You understand? But we have different cases where we relate to them. So this particular one that we plugged in is called James. So let's print out at the end of it all, let's print out accounts dot let's print. This is going to be complex for some of you, but I'm sorry it's this complex. Dot bonus balance. So bonus balance at this point is going to be 0 for everybody because their parents, the human type is 0. Forget that they are in different class. It's in parent class, is in this one is in this one class. You can still interact with anybody from anywhere. Yeah, from any file. So we are working on this the bar size file. So we're printing this guy now, account type or account balance. Remember, if the person is a joint guy and it has 5 years experience, we're going to give them bonus. So that means this thing would have already occurred before we get to this part of the code block. So we'll see if they actually have that account balance. So let's run this. This guy is James, and he has a savings account. Let's see what this will give us. If you're building this in a real life scenario, you won't build it like this. I'm just showing you this case because of what I'm trying to explain. Of course, but you use some of what this is. So we have an exception. We need to see which line of block that's giving us an exception. So I clicked it and it gave me this. So a to do will give you an error. So you have to just let's make it empty and say let's just make it empty. So meaning it's not going to do anything because at this point we're not giving any bonus to these guys. So because I'm up to 5 years, yes. So if I run it, you see that nothing will happen because it's an account guy and it's going to fall within this code block. So their balance is their bonus balance because their parent is a human, is still going to be 0. But let me come here and do something interesting and change this to joints. So let's say that this account type is joint, and this is James. James is different James now. You have an account type, and he has 200 jaws, and I think we need an extra property that says yes. Let's make the yes 6 now, and if I run this, you're going to see what's going to happen to us. So let me say thanks for being part of our organization. Let me put name. So account type dot owner. So if I run this now, this looks complex, but try to wrap your head around it. This is not the best use case scenario of how you're going to solve this, but yes, you're going to be using this kind of an ideology to create a program. You can see that you have thanks for being part of our organization, James. You've been awarded $10, and this is what happens here. And then at this point, let's say we send that message to them via email, text message, or whatever. And at this point, we're still building the account balance. You see that this guy got an account balance because on this particular day, it's a lucky day. They're more than 2 years. Company is happy. Company want to send bonuses, and this happens. So, guys, this is amazing. It's been an amazing one. I actually taught other guys, most of my amazing guys, awesome mentors that we have, actually awesome mentors. Yes, maybe another one they'll be able to still fill in, so still come in and do other things. But at this point in time, I have to take take the stage at this point because some of them are really busy with other things. Of course, there were times when I was very busy with company work, they had to fill in for me too. So it's been an awesome experience. We'll try to create another class where we will answer cases for Android Sierra. So we answer cases for Android scenario. So, but I'm not sure I want to do that right now because I feel like taking in very cold water and just chilling, you know, for the long talk and maybe just relaxing. So, but I'll find time so we can, other mentors too will find time and see how we can actually answer your question. So it's been an awesome time, awesome experience. You guys are the best. You guys rock. You guys are the future of Nigeria, the future of the world. You are the big tech guys are going to take from, of course, join us. And then, yes. So it's amazing. So thanks, guys. So if you have any question, you can go to, of course, Mobile Native is is our key channel where you can ask questions. So for Brian Z, I'll try to answer your question. Other people will answer too. Yes, I think that will be all for now. So awesome experience. Those of you in YouTube, thanks for asking questions. Thanks for your comment and all of that. So for those of you that requested for my Twitter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Twitter the same. Other mentors too are going to put that Twitter handle. So follow all of us. We share great resources. So you can follow us on Twitter. And through my Twitter handle, there are some tutorials that you might like. So you can go through. I think I was writing before. I just wrote to you can read them and other things. Other mentors too that do the same. So of course we do shares too. So those are things that you can still check. Sorry, objects data to see. All right, I think I've explained that. So it's been an awesome time. Thanks for being part of it. We'll share our Twitter links with you guys. And yes, I think that'll be all for now. Thanks so much.
Okay, I think we can end the call now, right?
Yes, we can end the call.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome guy, man. All right, so we'll see you on the group and the channel too.
Yeah, okay.